Okay, Nick, you can start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Friday Nitro Review. I am Nick the Geek, and I'm joined, of course, by my cohort, my co-conspirator, and my co-host, the real king of wrestling media, Jimmy Bebe. Jimmy, how the hell are you doing? How was World War III, and how has wrestling been treating you this week?
I'm doing much better this week after the surgery and the recovery and all that. I'm starting to come back to my normal self. World War III, I had low expectations based on our conversations, but I feel like the focus was on the World War III match itself and not the pay-per-view. And then going into it, I realized I don't know any matches that are happening on the card other than the World War III match. So I was like, okay. And honestly, I really loved the pay-per-view. I thought it was fantastic. They started off with Johnny B. Bad versus Diamond Dallas Page for the WCW television title. And before that match started, they went into the thing backstage with Diamond Doll saying that if you really want me, DDP, then you'll win tonight or you'll lose me. And he lost her. So the Diamond Doll went with with Johnny B. Bad, and it's like she was hesitant, which is nice. I like that she's acting here because it plays into the Nitro that comes on the night after. There's a storyline going with that, so that was good. And it made me realize, like I was telling you before we went on the show, that in 1995, I think there's a case for Johnny B. Bad to be one of the top in-ring performers in the world.
I agree.
It's absolutely incredible how good that man is. Like, I'm blown away.
Like I said to you before, he's got everything. He's got charisma, he's got athleticism, he's got delivery, he's got presence, he's got aura about him, to use the 2025 term.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything he can't do. So I'm like, it blows my mind that what I knew is Mark Marrow, and Johnny B. Bad is awesome. Like he's fantastic. He's arguably top 3 at least in WCW for me at this very moment in the blast through the past. Then out
of curiosity, who are the other two?
I have Sting, and then Brian Pillman.
Yeah. They're in my top 3, so I completely agree with you on that.
So that's there. I don't think there's a few that I like more, but I just don't think they've done enough. And I would say Lex Luger would probably be 4. Not because of his in-ring stuff, just because of I feel like he's just been that important to the show.
Oh, his overall impact since he came back to Nitro.
Yes. I've said I think he's the MVP of Nitro so far a few weeks ago when we were doing the show. But back to World War III, the match that followed that was Big Bubba Rogers versus Jim Duggan in a taped fist match. And again, we saw a little bit of that on Nitro last week when Jim Duggan cost Big Bubba Rogers. And this was a fun match. It was just two dudes who have a lot of chemistry from their days before, clearly. And they just beat the crap out of each other. And I really enjoyed that match. Big Bubba getting the win over Jim Duggan. That's fine. I had no care who was going to win this. I just wanted it to be entertaining, and it did. It was. Surprise Bull Nakano appearance here that just I was not expecting at all in a tag match. Bull Nakano and Akira Hakodu taking on Mayumi Ozaki and Cutie Suzuki. I think I said all those names right.
Yes, you did.
That was the match of the night. Like I was like, okay, this is great. This is absolutely great. Then you had Kensuke Sasaki defending his WCW United States Championship against Chris Benoit. Fantastic match. Did they wrestle a few Nitros ago? Was that who they wrestled?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This match was significantly better, but it was on pay-per-view and there was no time limits.
Well, the Nitro match was like 2 minutes.
Yes.
So
they had a lot more time, and this was a great match. Brutal. Those dudes got their licks in. Fantastic.
They've got a lot of history from All Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of history from All Japan.
Lex Luger and Savage was short, but it did the trick. It did the job that it was supposed to do. So I liked it. It was really good. And then Sting and Flair, man. I've long stated that I'm not a Sting fan. I'm not a Flair fan. I've also long stated that I think that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is the greatest rivalry in professional wrestling history. It's personal preference, but it is a top-notch one. I don't care what anyone says. If you disagree, I don't think you know professional wrestling.
Agreed.
I've never put much thought into the second one. And I think Sting and Flair is the clear cut for me at this point. They don't miss.
Nope.
They don't miss. I can't take my eyes off the screen when they're wrestling.
The fact is, if you go back to Clash of Champions '88, which is their first match, the very first match I watched, fantastic match.
Yeah.
You go to the following year, Great American Bash, fantastic match. The following year, Great American Bash, fantastic match. They always have a similar match, but it's always so good. They know each other so well.
I feel like they rearrange it. They rearrange things so it's not this literally carbon copy. They'll repeat moves, but again, when you're facing someone that you've basically face all the time and they know you everything, you kind of have to go to the bag of tricks a little bit more.
Oh, so,
yeah. And rivalries like this, I don't mind seeing multiple moves in one match. Like the Gorilla Press, I think he attempted it 3 times. But again, I get it. It makes sense. They're just great. And it looks like a fight and not just ballet.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Flair always made a point that he said he thought Sting was the guy in WCW.
Yeah.
And that his job as the previous guy was to make Sting. So Flair is so giving in his matches with Sting, which he's not in a lot of other matches. But with Sting, Flair is so giving. He gives Sting so much offense. He bounces back and forth with him. The chemistry is tremendous. Anyway, I'll shut up because I go on about Sting. I go on about Sting and Flair for days.
But yeah, I loved it. I loved their match. If the Bull Nakano tag match didn't happen, this would have been the match of the night. Again, I'm saying this as someone who just isn't a fan of either guy, but I'm starting to kind of get it. What I really enjoyed was Flair's usage of all 3 rings to like get away, but also try and lure Sting. And Sting just stalking him like the Terminator. Like, I don't care what tricks you got in your bag, Steve. I know, Rick, I know every single one of them. I know what's coming, and I do not care. I'm going to hurt you. Great. And then the World War III match, it was very hard to follow until it got to the final ring. But things I liked, Chris Canyon appearance, yay. Eddie Guerrero was the 9th person left in that match, which is, again, as we talked about last week, Eric Bischoff clearly saw something in Eddie early on, and I think that's cool. I really liked seeing Eddie last that long over a lot of big names too, honestly.
Oh yeah.
And if we hadn't had conversations about what was going to happen, all that, and I was just watching it, I would have thought Luger was going to win this match based on just how he's been built over the things. And then throughout the night, they did a good job of giving everybody a chance to talk about the match, which really made it seem like it was anybody's game. Yeah. I loved that because, again, if I'm watching it in real time, I don't think I would have been able to pinpoint that's who's going to win. Yeah. And my pick would have been Luger. I was pleasantly surprised to see Savage walk away with the title, even though he didn't technically win. But damn all that, as Macho Man says, it is what it is.
What it is.
So Macho Man's the champion. I'm through the roof, happy, excited, stoked because I love me some Macho Man. And I think it's setting up to a nice little Starrcade main event. So I'm cool. I thought World War III was fantastic. But again, I had very low expectations that might have played into it. Great show.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I gave you the worst opinion possible on what is considered not the best World War III. But I always enjoyed the pay-per-view. I just, as I said, I hate the Hogan bullshit. Pardon my language. It's this doesn't work for me, brother. I won't be eliminated from the match because I can't look weak.
Yeah.
It's like, just Savage is your boy. Just let him win.
If Giant would have just taken him over the top instead of under the thing, he still would have looked strong because he got eliminated by the biggest person in the match when he was already eliminated and you weren't expecting. Like, it's crazy how Hulk Hogan's mind works. But
it's mad because he did the honors for Flair in '92 when he let Sid pull him over.
Vince made him.
Well, we know Vince made him, but Eric should have made him.
Eric had no power though.
True.
The only way he was able to get Hulk Hogan to join was to say, "Hey, control." So I get that his hands were kind of tied there, but Hogan's a weird one. But again, it is what it is. And what it is the Macho Man Randy Savage is your world heavyweight champion. And I love that he went in Hogan's face at the very end and said, "Oh yeah." Like,
that was great,
son.
That's great. And he did it with a bum arm.
Yes.
Which is the other thing. Like a busted arm. Like I said, Savage's arm is legitimately hurt at this point. He's got an elbow issue. And he'll be wearing like that brace for a while now until he loses the title. I won't tell you who he loses the title to because spoilers.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm sure I know who, but thank you.
I won't tell you. And no, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't. Because it's not. I won't say anything else. Right, but on to what I believe was a fantastic post pay-per-view WCW Nitro.
Bingo, bango.
Absolutely brilliant. The show opened with the usual commentary team of Heenan, Bischoff, and Mongo. Mongo with his Chihuahua in leopard print this week for reasons.
Well, I noticed the last few episodes, the dog is basically him and the dog are wearing the same patterns. Mongo is wearing a very darker leopard pattern that you wouldn't maybe have noticed, and the dog was wearing a lighter one. So that's why the dog was wearing leopard.
Okay, I didn't even notice that. Well done. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But this show opens with the promotion for World War III, saying, everybody, if you missed it, you can watch the replay tomorrow night on March 5th at 5 p.m. Oh, March 5th on November 28th at 5 p.m. We're opening bigging up the new World Heavyweight Champion Savage and the controversy around the title win.
The dark cloud of controversy.
The dark cloud of controversy. And Heenan basically saying, screw the dark cloud. Hogan didn't win. I'm happy.
Yeah. Love you, Bobby.
Love you, Bobby. We then go into them talking about the fact that Sting and Luger will be teaming together in the main event tonight. And what's going on there, we don't know. Obviously, Sting and Luger are best friends in real life, and that's the reason they're teaming together, because Sting just wants to team with his buddy, and they've put it into storyline. We then went on to a quick promo from World War III, which was Hogan, Sting, and Savage before the match, where Hogan rips off the black, and he's got the red and yellow back underneath, and then burns the black clothing in a pyro thing. I don't know what you call it.
Like it was just a bucket. It was a bucket.
Just a flaming bucket. And it was clearly polyester because that fire went up like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Thought that was a bit risky, but they did it anyway.
At one point, Macho Man had to start rushing away because they were taking Hulk Hogan was just rambling and taking too long during the show. But
because that's what he did. But then we went to match 1, which was a rematch from World War III, not
a rematch
title
from the dark matches of the past 20 Nitros.
Those basically yet again, Diamond Dallas Page was wrestling Johnny B. Bad, but this time Johnny B. Bad had the Diamond Doll in his corner. Johnny comes out, makes his grand entrance, gets a huge pop.
Yeah.
Which goes towards what you were saying before. This guy was so over in 1995 that they could have probably put the US title on him. No one would have been
pretty crazy. They didn't, honestly.
Yeah. DDP comes out. DDP is carrying a bunch of flowers for Kimberly. Sorry, the Diamond Doll. She's not Kimberly yet.
He doesn't have the cigar. He doesn't have the glasses. He's very
somber and distraught,
and
just looks upset, and he gives the flowers to Kimberly, and then he sucker punches Jack.
I loved it. It was great.
It was great.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to point out there was a great, beautiful sequence in this match from an actual wrestling nerd from me. Now, they were focusing on the Diamond Doll while they were doing this, but DDP hits a beautiful tilt-a-whirl tombstone slam, and then immediately follows up with another tilt-a-whirl into an Emerald City side slam. After this, they're still focusing on the Diamond Doll, as you noticed. And she finds what Bobby the Brain Heenan calls a bracelet.
A sterling silver bracelet. And I'm inclined to believe him. I mean, when has Bobby ever lied?
Exactly. He just tells the truth. This is what Bobby Heenan does.
Yeah.
But she finds a sterling silver bracelet in a chain motif in the bang. And DDP starts begging her and pleading with her, give me the chain, give me the bracelet, give me the bracelet. And she just kind of haphazardly throws it. It goes between DDP's legs. The referee is distracted. Johnny picks up the chain. Bang. 1, 2, 3. Johnny B. Bad walks away, your victor. And the Diamond Doll looks distraught. She was conflicted, I believe
Yes,
is the word that I'm
conflicted
looking
is
for.
what I would say.
Yeah.
I think good job on, I'm going to call her Kimberly because that's who she is as far as the person. Good job on her throw because I feel like it was just perfect enough to where it looks like she doesn't know how to throw a chain or anything.
Yeah.
But she got it up high enough to where DDP could have got his hands on it, but
Yes.
also just low enough to where she was like trying to get at Johnny B. Bad. She's playing the line perfectly.
Yeah, brilliantly.
Like perfectly. And when
Kimberly
Johnny B.
Page,
Bad, what's that?
Kimberly Page does not get enough credit for her work in WCW.
Absolutely not. I'm so excited to watch it back with some smarter eyes to see things like this. And I like how Johnny B. Bad was like, "What was that all about?" And she goes, "Well, you won, and that's all that matters." And then there's like, "Yeah, you're right." And then I was like, I definitely see her turning on him, and I can't wait. I'm
not going to tell you.
Yeah,
no spoilers. I promised you when we started this there wouldn't be spoilers, so no spoilers.
So I've seen on TV 3 matches between these two now. There was the one where DDP just counted for himself. There was the pay-per-view match, and then there was this one. I think it's my favorite storyline on Nitro in WCW so far.
Yeah.
I'm invested because, again, Johnny B. Bad's awesome, and TDP I'm just a huge mark for. But I think it's just a really simple and fun storyline they're running here, and I'm glad that they finally got him on TV to start doing something.
Well, thing I'm really excited to see from a Diamond Dallas Page fan standpoint is the progression of the DDP now into the People's Champion.
Yes.
And screw you, Rock fans. Diamond Dallas Page was the People's Champion first. He was the one entering through the crowd. He was the one exiting through the crowd. DDP was the People's Champ first.
The people chose DDP. The Rock just announced himself as the People's Champion. That's the difference.
Exactly. But after this fantastic little match,
I was gonna say it was 2 minutes and 10 seconds on that match. It didn't need to be long though. It was a storyline. It wasn't really the match. And also, you brought up the tilt-a-whirl moves that DDP did. His tilt-a-whirl move set is unmatched. He was always fantastic at them.
The only guy that does a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker better than Diamond Dallas Page is Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
That's it.
But DDP utilized it in many other ways, and that's why that's kind of what I'm saying. Like his move set with the tilt-a-whirl is unmatched.
He even does it into a diamond cutter at one point.
Yes.
It's like the guy is just Diamond Dallas Page, just to wax lyrical for a minute, is so unbelievably talented in that ring. He and Chris Kanyon are two of the best in-ring workers WCW ever had from an innovation standpoint. From going, okay, I want to do this. How do I get to this differently than I did it last week?
They thought outside the box, which is something a lot of talent wasn't doing at this time. Yeah. I think that's the key. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but I could care less if it doesn't, as long as you're trying stuff. Like that's my thing.
Exactly.
And DDP, man, he's so freaking good. I forgot how like actual good he was.
Also, just to praise the man a little bit, he's the only guy that ever went from valet to color commentator to manager to professional wrestler.
To world champion.
Everyone does it the other way around. To world champion. Everyone does it the other way around. They start as a wrestler.
And he started at 35 years old.
Yeah, 36 years old.
That's insane.
No, 36 years old when he started wrestling.
You have people now saying that's you're over the hill.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, I'm just getting started. And he literally was like
ridiculous.
He's so good.
So good.
Can you imagine had he had a whole career? Like, oh my God.
Oh, no, if he'd started in his 20s, oh my God. Vince probably would have picked him up years before if he'd had the chance.
Man.
But we go from this, we cut back to commentary where Hogan is announced that Hogan will be facing the newest member of the Dungeon of Doom because they need more members. Hugh Morris.
I saw him on World War III too. They announced him as a member of the Dungeon of Doom, and I'm like, he's never been with them. What are you talking about? And then it continued on Nitro and all that. So that was funny. That was absolutely hilarious. I was like, wait a second. And then he even threw one of the members of the Dungeon and Doom out during World War III.
He did. Yeah, throws out.
It's humorous, man.
It's humorous. It's funny. Yeah. Then we cut to a Mean Gene promo with Kevin Sullivan and Jimmy Hart, baby. right? Where Kevin Sullivan is understandably upset.
Yeah.
That no member of the Dungeon of Doom walked away with the thing. They cut to the shot of Luger having Savage in the armbar, with Sullivan saying, all you had to do was hold on to the belt, hold on to that for another 10 seconds. But what happens here? What happens with Sting? What's going on with Sting? And then Jimmy Hart goes, baby, have I ever lied to you? I'm the first manager. And Sting and Luger, they're friends, man. That bomb's going to take a long to break. But me and Luger, we got a plan. And then Kevin Sullivan just goes, oh, okay.
Did he? I didn't catch that part. I guess I just kind of flashed out.
He literally turns around. He literally just turns around and goes, "Oh, you got a plan? Oh, okay," and walks off.
I don't know why you would buy into it, because Luger literally is responsible for the Giant getting eliminated.
Yeah. But Kevin Sullivan is an idiot. From what I've just pieced together in WCW over the last couple of months. Kevin Sullivan, even though he's supposed to be the taskmaster, is not the most intelligent man when it comes to his in-ring character.
Oh, well.
We then go on to match 2, which I'm going to try and not butcher these names, is QT Suzuki, Mayo Ozaki, Bull Nakano, and Akira Hokuto in a rematch, yet again, from World War III. And this is fantastic.
So I'll basically say this about this match. I hate that Bull Nakano got hurt. I hope it doesn't deter her from being on the show, like, short term, because she did get injured at the end of this match. But it was pretty much what they did is took all the great spots from the World War III match and just did them again on Nitro for a different audience, a broader audience. Which again, that's a smart move. And I was thinking, I was like, AEW comparison coming in. This is kind of like some of the stuff AEW does, and I was thinking, like, yeah, but they didn't do anything to really tell me who they were. But then Eric Bischoff, I think, on commentary hit me like, okay, I'm wrong here, because they talked about the Japanese invasion, and if there's an invasion coming, then clearly you wouldn't be promoting these people as they're coming in, because they're not there for you. They're there to take over.
No, that's why this is all Heenan's plan.
Yes. And
this is all Bobby and Sonny Ono are the ones orchestrating.
Then I was like, okay, I'm wrong. I'll shut up. And it also made me think about how, like, the NWO was a stolen angle from Japan, which was an invasion angle. And I feel like this was what he was going to do originally, and then found I don't want to say a better way, but a better way of presenting it to an American audience.
Yeah, he found a westernized way of doing it.
Yeah, yes. So I wanted to throw that tidbit in, because it was something that, like, my gears were grinding in my head as all this was going on. I was like, okay, I'm wrong. That's what that was. But
look, like I said, this is a fantastic match. Starts off power move after power move. Bull Nakano just showing off who she is. Double suplexes. It turns when Bull goes for her top rope leg drop. God damn, that looked painful when she landed. Anyone that does a top rope leg drop and likes to compress their spine on a weekly basis by missing, all power to you. But you're never going to catch me doing that move.
No. Did you ever see her boot off the cage?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's nuts. She's absolutely nuts. One of the hardest women in the history of wrestling. Akira Hokuto hits a beautiful Northern Light suplex in this match. Just gorgeous. Better than Alicia Fox's, and that's saying something. Because Alicia Fox can't wrestle. Gorgeous Northern Light suplex. But the Northern Light she hits in this match with the bridge is just, it's phenomenal. The other two hit a double foot stomp off the top rope onto Nakano. Nakano then kicks out, and eventually Hokuto wins with the most brutal fisherman's buster I have ever seen.
Loved it.
She drops her right on her head. Just great move, great match, great pin. It was the Jericho pin. I always appreciate the Jericho pin before Jericho was even there.
It was a version of the Jericho pin.
Yeah, it wasn't the Jericho pin. It was no, baby. But it was, the 1 foot to pose. I will always refer to it as the Jericho pin, just because
that's fair.
He was the first guy I remember doing it. But eventually, Bull and Akira win. Fantastic match. Commentary, Heenan especially, and Bischoff really put over these girls. all the way through the match about how many moves they're going to do, about you're not going to believe what you're going to see. I think they got this match on Nitro because the match was so well received on World War III that they went.
And it's a good idea to put spotlight on them if you're going to be continuously using them. Get an idea of how the crowd is going to react, and not just the crowd that's going to the pay-per-view, but like just the casual, that's what Eric Bischoff really was good at, is find out what that casual person wanted to see and kind of highlighting it. Like, okay, this is wrestling. This is what the casuals are gravitating toward. That's what I need to grasp onto. The line I really liked from Bobby Heenan in the match was, these girls don't just like wrestling. These girls don't just do wrestling for a job. These girls live wrestling. That's all they do. That's all they know. And it shows in their matches. So great. Like, it was great. I really loved this match, even though it was a rematch from the night before. It was still, I didn't mind it because it was just good stuff.
No, it's really good.
At World War III, Bull Nakano took 4 coup de grace in a row. It was like, yo, stop. Stop stomping her. What are you guys doing?
Bull Nakano is just hard. It's the only way I can describe her. She's such a beast. And realistically has the greatest hair in the history of professional wrestling.
Second greatest hair.
Okay, who's number 1?
Jericho, baby.
All right.
Jericho, when he debuted on Raw, come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that. Or even on Nitro, he had the best hairstyles. Hands down.
Okay, I'll give you that. We then went on to a WCW Saturday Night promo. Usual advertising that Sting will be facing I think it's Hiroki Tenzan, which is another member of the Japanese Invasion, which should be a great match. If you get the chance to watch that Saturday night, please do, because anything with Hiroki Tenzan is always good, and when he's wrestling Sting, it's even better.
Also, real quick, the tag match, it was 5 minutes and 24 seconds, which doesn't seem like it's that long, but there's 4 matches tonight, lots of segments, and it's almost as long as the main event. So that's also a good show of kind of like how much faith he was showing those girls.
Yes. We then cut to match 3. Hulk Hogan versus Hugh Morris.
Best match of the night. I'm not even joking.
You're not joking. This is what I refer to, as I put in my notes, standard Hulk Hogan affair.
I liked it, though.
No, I enjoyed it. It was fine. And this had my first Mongo line of the week. Mongo's line of the week this week was, well, Heenan, if it looks like a skunk and smells like a skunk, then you're probably a skunk.
And then Bobby followed it up with an even better line. He says, well, your mama probably picked that skunk up and cooked it and ate it if she lived in Texas. What?
God bless them both. Just they're so good at what they do. Like I said, this is a standard Hogan match. Hugh Morris takes over. Hugh Morris hits his moonsault. Hogan kicks out of his moonsault. Hogan hulks up. 3 punches, big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. Then we move on to what Hogan's actually doing for the remainder of the evening.
Okay, so real quick, how long do you think the match was?
4 minutes.
Okay, so 3 minutes and 41 seconds. That's good enough. What I liked about this match is, when I think of Hulk Hogan and his politics and all that stuff, I would have never in a million years thought that he would allow Hugh Morris to get that much offense on him.
I agree with that.
That's what I enjoy, because I was like, okay, they're actually, because Hugh Morris is one of those guys that worked for WCW that was, I would say he was like Dolph Ziggler in WWE. He's not as good as Dolph Ziggler, but he was like, we know he's going to get a good match out of people, so we're just going to throw him in there every week to get a good match.
That's why he was Goldberg's first match.
Yes. He was really good. And this is his first appearance on Nitro. It might even be on TV for them, other than World War III.
Second appearance overall, because I think he did Saturday Night's main event the week the week before.
But for him to be in there with Hulk Hogan and get that much offense in, he even hit his finisher on him and everything. I thought that was pretty cool of Hogan, which does not get said very often, rightfully so.
Well, except for the nice finish kid can't wait to kick out of it later.
It's Hulk Hogan's character, though. I don't mind it, again, because it is Hulk Hogan. When I always talk about, I love levels to things. Hulk Hogan's on a completely different level, so whatever. I don't care. I did think it was interesting that Hugh Morris did the whole 1, 2, 3 kick out at 4.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if Hugh Morris is on TV anytime soon after that. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I rarely enjoy a Hulk Hogan match, but I enjoyed this one. So
we then went on to a World War III encore promotion, because obviously tomorrow night will be the World War III encore promo back in 1995. Obviously not in the real world. Don't try and find it. It won't be there. They will be doing an encore promotion of presentation of World War III. And then we immediately go to Mean Gene Okerlund with the new World Heavyweight Champion in fantastic white and red, the Macho Man Randy Savage. This was a good little segment.
Looked Canadian in that outfit.
Yeah, near enough. Near enough. Savage says he's ecstatic and is going to go on a reign of terror, be that for a day or a day and forever.
That's not a good reign of terror if it's a day, brother.
No, not at all. Or a day and forever.
No.
He then Hogan comes out. Hogan goes on about World War III. Hogan cuts to a video package of when he eliminates Sting, Luger, and the Giant, and then just before we see Hogan get pulled out before the bottom rope, static.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order. That's what Savage, I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah. Savage turns around and says, "Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, brother, and I didn't see a damn thing," which I thought was a great line. And then they are immediately jumped by the Giant. The Giant chokeslams Randy on the concrete, which looked brutal. Like, just because it's concrete, it doesn't matter how you make somebody land, it's going to suck. He smashed his head. He then chases Hogan down to the ring. Sting comes out. Sting grabs the Giant's leg.
Yeah, because the Giant was manhandling Hogan.
Yeah, the Giant was manhandling Hogan. Sting comes out, grabs the Giant's leg. Giant picks Sting up by his skull. And then Hogan grabs a steel chair and proceeds to hit the Giant with the weakest Lance Storm-esque chair shots
I want to say this.
Ever seen in your life.
The back chair shots were not bad. I thought they were fine. And he hit Giant total in this segment, I think, 13 times with a chair.
Yes.
7 of those were really good shots, I think. They're not those fantastic ones. And I honestly don't want to critique Hogan for being safe. That seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do the headshots the way he was doing those headshots, maybe just don't do the headshots.
Just don't do them. It was like Lance Storm at Barely Legal 1997. Yeah. It was just
Yeah. And what's funny is I've seen Hogan do worse.
Oh,
yeah. So the key thing that happens here, though, is as Hogan is still going after him with those chair shots, at one point Sting comes up, stops him, and allows the Giant to escape.
Yes. He stopped Hogan because he doesn't want Hogan to reinverse into the dark side. He needs Hogan to be the red and yellow beacon of light for all the Hulkamaniacs and everything else.
This is fair, but Bischoff brings this up later on commentary.
Yes, he does. I've got that in my notes.
Okay, so we'll get to that. But then what I found was funny here is they're checking on Macho Man because things like that. We need to check on our friend Macho Man. They're checking on, and then Hulk Hogan just stands up and goes, like, "Put the shot on me, brother." It's like, come on, just get your ass out of there, dude.
He can't help it. He cannot help it if it doesn't work for him, brother.
And those crowd cheers are not what they're trying to say they are at this point. I see why they were like, "No, you got to turn heel, man," because they were dying.
Yeah, very slow. The boos, you can hear the boos starting to appear for Hogan, and that is not good when you're trying to be the top babyface.
I love it.
I mean, it's amazing because we know what's coming.
But
we cut to
awesome segment. Awesome segment.
Fantastic segment.
It was
fantastic segment. Yes. So we then cut to commentary where Bischoff, Heenan is furious because Hogan's a scumbag and he's really annoyed that the scumbag didn't get beat up. And then Eric very cuts him off and says, "Yeah, but what's going on with Sting? Why did Sting stop him? I mean, he's teaming with Luger later on. What's going on? We don't understand what's going on with Sting." And if you may have noticed, Jim, but the hair is starting to change.
He hasn't been bleaching it. Yeah.
No. And in the next 6 months, the bleach will be gone. It will be medium-length brown hair, and Sting will start to evolve into the character that we all know and love that doesn't talk. for like 18 months. Sting, it's going to annoy the crap out of me because I've got to watch this for 18 months where Sting doesn't talk.
What is up, Ron? Thank you for joining, Ron. Good to see you, bud.
Thanks.
Different day. Glad you're here, though, man.
Okay, then we go to our main event. Glad he did.
Yeah, he's one of the regulars on the Positively Awesome Wrestling. He's very helpful. Awesome.
Thank you
awesome
for
wrestling
us,
fan.
Yeah, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate anybody that does. We then go to our main event, which was the Four Horsemen, represented by Arn Anderson and Flying Brian Pillman, who, very curiously, at the start of this match, they're talking about how Heenan is talking about how Arn is such a great tag wrestler. And then he goes to say that Brian is also a fantastic tag wrestler. And you can hear Bischoff elbow him in the ribs because his tag partner doesn't work here anymore.
I have to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
Because this has been my only, I hate that we tuned in when we did because it's right. That we tuned in with Nitro started, so there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. But it's like right after Steve is gone.
Yeah.
And I've never really got to go back and watch a lot of, I've never got to go back and watch a lot of the Stone Cold stuff from WCW.
I've seen clips. The Hollywood Blondes are one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
So at some point, I'm going to go back and start watching some Saturday nights and everything so that I can,
Oh, it's great. But you verbally hear. I hate that so weird.
Yeah.
Refresh. Yeah. You literally hear Bischoff elbow Heenan. And Heenan stops mid-sentence and goes, he's a great flyer. He's great flying around the ring.
Yeah, I might have to go back. That's funny.
Yeah, we can't mention that he's a fantastic tag wrestler because Steve doesn't work here anymore.
But they'll take shots at WF all day.
All day long.
Hey.
All day long.
And I'm not allowed to say that they're not similar.
No. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Against the rules.
Oh, man.
But then, obviously, so Anderson and Pillman make their entrance together. Sting comes out on his own first to his own music. And Bischoff's like, well, where's Luger? Where's Luger? Where's Luger? And I'm there going, give him a chance. They're not an actual tag team. He's probably going to have his own entrance. And lo and behold, let's get his own entrance with, I'd like to point out, some fantastically timed pyro.
And fantastically timed theme music. It literally started after he was like halfway down the ramp.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was for you, but for me, I didn't hear his music until the pyro
No. His music didn't hit till after the pose, which I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just a screw up in the truck.
Bad
Can't have been intentional, surely.
Yeah. Once at the time, Eric Bischoff apologized for Heenan calling Ming Hawk.
I remember that.
What shut up, Eric. There's no need to apologize for silly shit like that.
Yeah, it's fine. But Sting comes out. Luger follows. Anderson hits the spine buster really early.
Yeah.
And still, greatest spine buster in wrestling history. So good. He hits the spine buster really early. Him and Pillman take over. They're beating down Sting. There's a lot of shenanigans and distraction in this match, which is what you expect.
After, I don't know if it happened right before or right after the spine buster, but there was a moment where Luger was on the apron and Sting threw Arn into Luger and Luger flew off.
Yes.
And that's part of kind of what they were telling in the match. I didn't want to overskip that part because there's a retribution later on in the match.
Yes, later on.
Yeah.
But basically, the whole story of this match was that Arn and Brian are a team.
Yeah.
The Horsemen are a unit. Luger and Sting aren't. They're just friends.
Sting and Luger are tag teaming. They're doing well, but they're not communicating.
No,
they're
not communicating. They are not the unit that the Horsemen are. They do not have the communication. They do not have the chops, as it were, that the Horsemen have in tag team wrestling. This goes on for a while. Brian goes round to the corner when Sting needs a tag, gets Luger to drop down and chase him off. So Luger isn't there when Sting needs the tag. Sting eventually gets the tag. Luger comes in like a house of fire, hits a couple of power slams. They both do a double gorilla press slot, which I thought was really nice. Then Luger hits that flying metal plated forearm, and Bobby likes to drive it home that he's got a steel plate in his arm. He's not a good guy. He's using a weapon. Luger then, instead of going for the torture rack, tags Sting back in, who was quite illogical because Sting was knackered at this point.
Yeah.
Sting gets on in the Scorpion. While he has on in the Scorpion, Brian Pillman gets up on the turnbuckle behind him. Luger goes over, and it looks like Luger's just going to shove him off to the outside, but he doesn't. He shoves Brian straight on to Sting. It was a great shot by Brian Pillman.
I want to say this, how genius of a spot this was. And maybe I'm just glamorizing. I don't know. But when Sting went to put the Scorpion Deathlock on Arn, he literally turned him, and I thought that the reason he was turning him was so that he could watch Brian Pillman come in from the corner.
Yeah.
And because that's what it looked like as I'm watching it. But then Brian Pillman goes to the corner. I'm like, okay. And then when Sting, I'm like, that was so brilliantly done and timed and placed. Like, bravo. That is a brilliant spot because it took completely. I was like, that makes sense why Sting's turning him. Because most of the time when wrestlers are altering things in the ring, it's because they're trying to get into a camera shot or whatever, and it just kind of looks phony. But that one, I was like, that makes sense. He's trying to keep an eye on Pillman, and boom. So great spot, dude. So good.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. This then goes to do a bit of a schmoz. Luger comes in, stomps on Pillman, stomps on Arn, does a few more moves. The referee ushers Luger out of the ring. Sting hits a jackknife roll-up, gets the pin, and literally half a second after the 3 count is counted, Ric Flair, in a beautiful baby blue sweatshirt, comes out of nowhere and just proceeds to beat the snot out of Luger and Sting.
Yeah.
Until they are saved. Well, Sting is saved by Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan comes down. He chases off Flair. He chases off Arn. He chases off Pillman. He then goes, inexplicably, to beat up Luger in the corner. Sting stops him.
No, brother.
Sting stops him. Hogan's like, what are you talking about? Starts wagging his finger in his face. Goes, I want to punch him in the face. That goes through. And then we cut to a advert break. We come back. And we are on commentary.
So I want to give Mongo props here because I think it was him that said it. He said, I think Sting still sees the good in Luger, and that's what this is about. I'm not sure if that was Mongo. It seems like it's way over Mongo's head that would be a thing. But I want to say it was him because I was kind of shocked when he said it. And I was like, dude, that's a great. The commentary lines on this episode alone were fantastic to help you understand if you weren't following exactly the picture that was trying to be painted.
Including really Mongo's second line of the week, which is, I don't know if Savage is alive or dead, but I know he ain't moving because his arm is too screwed up.
There was one that I almost picked. I'm glad you had some because I couldn't really pinpoint one that was really that great, but it was one where he's like, I hope he doesn't die the day after he won the world title. I was like, what?
I almost picked that one, but this one was too intricate not to use.
Ron points out that Luger's theme was the theme during Doc Hendricks' WWF Hotline commercials. That's funny.
Yes.
I wonder if it was one of those free music that you can find.
It was also the theme they used for if you ever rang. Now, I don't know if you did, Jimmy. I did not, but I know other people that have. If you ever rang the WCW hotline,
I did once.
Luger's music. Yeah, well, Luger's music was the whole music.
It's a good little tune. I do want to point out something from World War III about the hotline since it did come up. They did a break, like a Mean Gene promoted it, and they were saying, and if you want to know more about the WWF steroid scandal, call the hotline. And I'm like, yo, y'all are dirty.
Yeah. Anything they can at this point.
They were going with flames, man. I was like, good God, that was hilarious.
And the thing is, they're only just getting started. As far as
I know. Like I know some of the ones, but
I believe before the end of the year, we have the first shot that will be fired severely, which is that the women's title getting dropped in the bin.
Yeah, it's coming up.
That's coming up pretty soon. But, ladies and gentlemen,
then they announced for Saturday night that on this Saturday night there's going to be a Starrcade match announced. So good promotion.
Well, a big announcement for Starrcade.
Yes.
They didn't say it was going to be a match.
Okay, you're right. So not only are you promoting Starrcade with that, which is great, they're really good at promoting their pay-per-views, but also promoting Saturday night. Like Really, really good stuff. So
it's connectivity. It's making sure you watch everything in a week. Saying you need to watch this program because otherwise this won't make sense, and you need to watch this program so this makes sense.
I always talk about the flow of the shows. The flow of this show was great, even if it was Hulk Hogan heavy, everything Hulk Hogan was involved in made perfect sense.
Which is very rare.
Yes, I
very rare.
The flow was fantastic. So
it was great. But ladies and gents, first off, Jim, what would your grade for this week's Nitro?
This gets an A. It was almost a perfect show. I think I don't know what could have made it better. I just feel like I don't want to give it an A+ because I know there's going to be better episodes to come.
Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko would have made it better.
I mean, but I don't want to eliminate any of the matches because I didn't hate any of the matches.
I'm just saying, throw another match in there. Get rid of the Hogan promo with Savage. Right? I
just think nothing crazy impactful happened. Just a lot of really good stuff happened. So
it was a very good post pay-per-view show.
Memorable moment, I think, is what would have put it as an A+. There was no memorable moment, just really good stuff. Real quick, I want to do the dark matches as well.
Go for it.
Gorgeous George III defeated Cobra. There's a lot tonight. The Blue Bloods, Earl Robert Eaton and Lord Steven Regal defeated the Stud Stable, Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater with Colonel Robert
It was so
Parker.
weird seeing Bobby Eaton pretend to be English.
A dark match between, oh my God, would have made it an A+. Das Wonder Kid, Alex Wright taking on Disco Inferno, Shake Your Booty, Disco Fever. My God, that would have put this show over the top. And those are your 4 dark matches. So this would have been a really fun show to go to live, honestly.
Oh, it would. Yeah. If I was around obviously in the US at that age, I'd have loved to have gone to this Nitro.
This was a good one. This is a good one.
It delivered on all cylinders. But, ladies and gents, that was WCW Monday Nitro, November 27th, 1995. I've been Nick the Geek. He has been Jimmy Bebe. And always remember, we are but 2 geeks obsessed with a good show. And our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. If you like what we do here at Friday Nitro Reviews, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and do everything you can. It's the only way the YouTube algorithm knows we exist, and it's free. And also, give us a follow over on Spotify.
He is a Tony Schiavone. That's literally what he calls himself on his channel.
You are not the first person to call me Tony Schiavone. And thank you very much.
Just real quick, in case you want to check him out on his other channel, he's fantastic. He's probably my best wrestling friend that I talk wrestling with. Wrestling Legion is his other channel. He knows his stuff. So if you do have the time, you can check him out over there too.
We do our podcasts on Sundays at around 7 p.m. UK time. I'm not sure what that'll be for you, Ron. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yes, I'm proud to look like Tony Schiavone because he's the best commentator of all time. Screw you, Jim Ross. No, I don't care. Everyone accuses Tony Schiavone, including Jim Ross, of following him throughout his entire career.
I do recall you bringing up WCW a bunch, Ron. This is the show you want to watch then, man, because I'm a huge Mark II myself. I love some WCW. And the era we're in right now, I've never experienced, so it's all like fresh to me. But yeah, I'm with you, man. That's why I vibe with you, because WCW marks are awesome. They're the best wrestling fans ever.
Yes, we are. Right, but ladies and gents, that's the show. Please join us next week. We'll be here every single week, assuming real life allows it.
Yes.
Up until as I have to keep reminding everyone, the 24th of July, I will be going away.
And honestly, if I can't do it on Friday mornings, even though it is WCW Friday Nitro, I might look to try and just do it on a separate day on the weeks I can't do it on Friday, just because I don't want us to keep going through the lapses. So
yeah, I agree.
As long as you have the notification thing on, you're good. Or if you just follow us on Spotify, you'll be able to find it whenever it's posted. So that's my suggestions if you want to keep up.
Yeah, please do.
Yep.
But ladies and gents, that's the show. I've been Nick the Geek. He's been Jimmy. See you next week.
That is going to work for me, brother.